This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7CYM. The Western Washington Amateur Television Society is a group of amateur radio enthusiasts that take to the airways with fast-scan television. We have, utilizing the SeaTac Repeater Association's 08 machine, WW7ATS, for our voice transmissions for our nets held on Wednesdays and Saturdays between 8 and 9 o'clock. So on behalf of the Western Washington Amateur Television Society, I want to find out more about our organization. Google WW7ATS, Google WW7ATS. That will take you to our homepage. There you'll find information about our organization, frequencies that we transmit on, and also a link to YouTube where we stream our nets held on Wednesdays and Saturdays. So on behalf of the Western Washington Amateur Television Society, I'll pause in case anybody has emergency traffic or needs to make a contact with someone before our net gets fully underway. This is Dave, KD7CYM. And again, this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7CYM. So far checked into the net via video link is Ron, KD7QKU, Jessica, KF7UHK, Lee, N7KC, Bert, N7CS, Bob, K9PQ, Jim, N7QO, and Dave, KD7CYM, and I see that Richard, K7ITX, has got an image on the net this evening. So is there anybody else who would like to check in this evening? See, WU7N, I missed him. James, thanks for joining the net. So we got pretty much a full house tonight. Let's start off with Ron, KD7QKU in Tacoma.
Okay, thank you, Dave. KD7ZYM in the group. This is KD7QKU. Yes, I'm in Tacoma. So Lee, my friend who lives in Boise, Randy, just said to say hi to you. He called me just a second ago. He broke his foot. I don't know which one it is. And he was complaining. He's in a lot of pain, and he's been soaking it in ice water, it's swollen and everything. He's been to the doctor. I told him he should get a knee cart instead of using crutches. He's pretty heavy and he's a big guy. And then he could go out to dinner or something, but anyway. I was just telling him, I said he's just a big sissy. I remember we went fly fishing in Montana, and he slipped and fell on the bank on a rock, and he hit his shin, and it cracked his shin. Well, we didn't know it was cracked at the time, but so we were there for 3 or 4 days, and so every time we were at the pickup sleeping or something, he was moaning and groaning about his leg. Oh, my leg, it really hurts. And so I finally gave him some aspirin or something. That's all we had. You know, it didn't look like anything was wrong with it, you know, but anyway, when he got home, he went to the doctor and they x-rayed it. Sure enough, it was cracked. So anyway, poor guy, I feel sorry for him, but I guess, 6 or 8 weeks he'll be okay. So I guess, well, what else have I got? I guess that's enough for now. Oh, Richard, thanks for sending me the message about the Mariners on Channel 13. I appreciate that. So anyway, all right, back to net, KD7QKU.
QKU, Ron, thanks for that. Let's go to Jessica, KF7UHK.
7UHK, Jessica up here in Everett. Today was one of my working days because I get Mondays and Tuesdays off. So I drove a paratransit bus all over between Cedar Woolley, LaConner, and Anacortes today, taking people to different places. Several people getting out or going into finally got home here about 7 o'clock, and now I got dinner ready, and I'm so happy because you don't really have a lot of time to really stop and eat when you're driving buses. You're kind of going. I snack, but it's not a substantial meal, so that's what I'm ready for right now. So with that, I'm going to pass it back. It's Jessica up at Everett, KS7, UHK.
KS7 UHK, Jessica, thanks for checking in. Well, let's go to Port Angeles to Lee in 7KC, the cool spot this evening.
Okay, there I can go. In 7KC, Lee in Port Angeles. Good evening, all. Yep, it's cool here, but this afternoon, it was really hot. Fortunately, most of the work I had to do was in my old shed, which is coming along pretty well. I'm going to go to Home Depot over in Sequim in the morning and pick up a little more wood and a couple of supplies to finish it off. But the floor is 5/6. I got 16% left to do. Anyway, but it's yeah. So it's coming along, and I keep banging away at it. You know, it's a lot of work for this guy, but so far so good. Yeah, Jessica, you know, well, I guess as driving goes, you're probably still kind of a neophyte on the bus, and you know what? You're going to figure out all kinds of slick trick things about what to eat, when to eat, where to eat, all that sort of thing, you know. I just bet you know, that'll come with time where you'll have your favorite spots and all that, so I don't know whether you'd have to take a lunch with you, if you can actually stop and get something to eat. I just don't know. Anyway, I don't have anything else. Back to you, Dave, in 7KC, Lee in Port Angeles.
Marysville to Bert in 7CS.
Okay, well, good evening, everyone. Let's see what I've been up to today. So I did post something to the mailing list last night that you may have seen. So Icon has announced a new radio, the IC905, and what's really interesting about this radio is that it actually has ATV mode built, an ATV mode built right into the radio. It's FM ATV, so FM analog, so it's not what we use, but it is what a bunch of other repeaters around the country do have support for FM ATV. So that's really cool. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Let's see. I went grocery shopping last night for the first time in a while, and I just bought some snacks. I wanted to pick up some chips, and just almost had a panic attack when I saw the price of a bag of potato chips is about almost $6. I could not quite believe it. So I wasn't able to get the brands I normally get. I was able to get some other brands that were having you know, buy 2 or buy 4 to get a deep discount. But yeah, my normal chips that I used to always wait for the deals to get like 2 for like $6 for 2, they were now like $10 for 2. And then like a bag of Ruffles party size was about like $5.89, almost $6. So just kind of unbelievable. So I didn't quite get the chips I wanted, but oh well. Let's see. So that's it for now. More later. This is Bert in Marysville, and 7CS. Back to that.
7CS. Let's go to Bob, K9PQ.
Well, first of all, I don't know if Rob is listening, but I want to thank Rob for fixing the Grandstream IP address security, so I can now use it. And so here I am. Ron, the Mariners, on TV. I don't have a TV here where my radio is, but I have noticed that they seem to have changed their policy on broadcasting over streaming. I get streaming on Roku via an app called
7CYM for an ID. Let's go to Richard, K7ITX.
Okay, well, here we are in balmy Long Beach, Washington, 65 degrees. So, and it was a beautiful sunny day. I mean, it was just spectacular. I'll show you why I'm here, if you can just bear with me for a second here while I try to remember how to do screen sharing. Okay. Come on, get up. Okay. I think we're starting to get there. Oh, well, wait a minute. I don't know. Well, we'll see. I don't know if you guys can see this or not, but I'm at the Washington, as I told you last Wednesday night, the International Kite Festival, and it's just spectacular. Just unbelievable. I've never, ever seen so many kites before in my life, or I never knew half the things that I saw could even be considered a kite, or how do they even fly? I mean, some of the things, it seems like they are just defying gravity, and there's nothing aerodynamic about them. So it's just kind of weird. I did go to the museum, the kite museum. Ron had told me about that, and the kite museum was really cool, especially to see a kite made probably during World War I or World War II, a kite that was married up with a shortwave radio and antenna for the lifeboat. And then, of course, the whole idea behind that was for if your ship was sinking, you jump in the lifeboat and start flying this kite. Well, the kite has got, the antenna wire going down from the kite into the lifeboat into a transmitter that would send SOS. So, anyway, that was pretty cool, and so is being at the Kite Festival. So, hopefully, you're able to see this sort of thing, and with that, I'll go... Excuse me, KD7ZYM, K7ITX, back to net control.
ITX, thanks for that. Let's go to Jim, N7QO.
7QO, thank you, Dave. Good evening, everyone. I was working my butt off all day, and it's a little bit hot in the deck, so I'm kind of drained, so I apologize for coming to you from my house. I do not have any 1.2 gigahertz downlink, but I can see the video just fine. Ron, oh my goodness. Your friend got a hairline fracture of his shin bone, and all you had is aspirin? My goodness, should have at least had a little pint of something as a sort of refreshment. Kind of funny, when I got married, my groomsman, my brother-in-law brought a little pint around and passed it around to all the groomsmen, and I don't know about the wedding, but my groomsmen were happy about the wedding, so anyway, have to keep that in mind next time. Jessica, sounds like work. Lee, sounds like you've been busy working on the floor. Hang in there. Bert, thanks for mentioning that radio. I did not hear about that. Chips. I get chips from Costco. They cost surprisingly a small amount, but just like everything from Costco, the bag is kind of gigunda. Probably a bag of those things will last you like 6 months or something. Okay, they only last me maybe about 3 months.
sorry that they lost, but oh well. When they go into overtime, it's kind of interesting anyway. I like the games where they either go into overtime or like a football game where the score goes back and forth. I think those are more exciting for me anyway. And Dick, Long Beach 65, wow, International Kite Festival. Thank you for those pictures. They're coming out just fine on the streaming. Question I have though, did you notice any birds around there? I would guess that the birds would either be, I don't know, maybe frightened of them, maybe they would try to attack them, or maybe they'd run away from them. Just curious how the bird population reacted. And also I see Wade just joining us as well. So back to you, Dave, and 7QO.
Okay, let's call it Wade now, W7ATS.
Good evening. I'm sorry I wasn't able to join last net. Just been really busy around the house here, and just wanted to say hi to everybody. And looks like everybody's having a good time and enjoying the weather. I did. We're talking about baseball. I went to one of the minor league games 2 nights ago at the Rainiers at Cheney Stadium. It was a really good game. The Rainiers did win that game. I think it was like a 7 or 9 to 3 or 6, I forget the score, but we definitely had a pretty good lead on the Isotopes. Yeah, I'm really excited about hearing some of the new technology that Bert was talking about. The 905 seems like a pretty cool rig. I think somebody commented saying that they were hoping that 705 would be able to firmware update to be able to do the interface to RF. I don't think so it's going to happen, just because it looks like the 905 had a dedicated RJ45 jack for the RF module. So hopefully we'll hear more about the 905s in later nets. But I don't have much more to say. It's just nice to see everybody tonight. W7ITL, back to net.
ITL, let's go to James, WU7N.
WW7 in Northeast Bellevue. Well, I'm going to put something more interesting in my face. I'd say to Richard, thank you for sharing the kite video. And let's see if anybody can identify this interesting kite, the movie that it was in, as I jabber on here. Actually, the size Costco sells is, I think, defined as the small village size of chips. It's designed to feed a small population. I, however, find when I buy like a giant Costco-sized bag of Cheetos, they're somehow gone by Sunday. You buy them on Friday, they're gone on Sunday. I don't know how that happens. And there's yellow spots all over the apartment. It is very nice way to buy chips, but my goodness, I guess I lack the self-control to buy a container that large. Also, another good place for chip prices is grocery outlets. And surprisingly, a lot of grocery outlet stuff is out of date or almost out of date, but not the chips. I've never gotten stale chips or stale crackers there. And I hate to say this, Bert, but not only are they twice as expensive, look carefully at the size. See how many ounces are in there. Yeah, it's shrinkflation. Yeah, the chips are definitely down. Well, Jessica, you hauling the medical people around reminds me of some slang term I heard back in peak COVID, where New York was having to put on extra shifts of paramedics, and they had some term for taking someone away from an area where there was no signs of foul play or anything. I think it was kind of called cold takeout or something like that. And I was wondering, I thought they were referring to the type of pickup it was, but maybe they were talking about lunch too. I don't know. So let's see. The other thing, I made a mistake today. I was watering a neighbor's lawn, and I realized he's got 2 very nice potted trees on each side of the garage, and I was carefully watering them. Realized they're artificial, and I'm kind of worried about the pot they're in. was gravel in there, and I know that could make it worse. I thought, should I drill a hole in the bottom so it can drain out? What should I do? And I thought, since they're going to be back tomorrow, I'll just ask then and offer my drill. Because I looked down in there, and yeah, it's kind of a little aquarium effect going on there. Anyway, at least the grass is nice and green. Well, Ron, I hope your friend's foot heals quickly. Yeah, that's quite a thing to be stuck out in the middle of nowhere with nothing but aspirin. WC Field said they lost their corkscrew once and had to live off of food and water for weeks. So anyway, on that comment, this is James, WU7N in Northeast Bellevue. Let's see if anybody can name that airship.
James, this is Dave, KD7CYM in Lake City, and this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. Oh my, what a busy day it was. The temperature-wise right now here in Lake City is 74, but boy, it was a gorgeous afternoon. I got out for a little walk in the neighborhood. Got a chance to check into and watch the movie this afternoon on TV. Then went through my finances. I have my required minimum deductions I have to take for my IRA, which is an annual situation. And last year, the stock market went crazy. Not this year, but everything is based on last year's stats. So by the time I got done calculating everything out, I owe Uncle Sam 34K. So anyway, that's my fair share of helping the government and some of these subsidy programs that are out there. So that's how it goes. At least I didn't have bitcoins that really went sour, so I guess I'm okay with that. But this year, the market is down, so it's not going to be that much deduction for next year, I hope. But anyway, I was kind of surprised. I was, my gosh. But, you know, that's the problem of having savings accounts and having some good years in the stock market. So anyway, that's how that went. So that's my sad story. So that's about it here in Lake City. So I'll move it back up to Ron, KD7QKU.
And hello to the group again, KD7QKU. Well, Jessica just disappeared, and I had a question for her. Oh, she's still there. She picked up the cat, the big black cat. So it looks like the cats are getting acquainted with you now. That's nice. So Jessica, I was wondering if you ran a route or if you just went to people's addresses and picked them up. So you can maybe fill us in later on that. And Lee, there's a gentleman that has a live-aboard sailboat. He's on the morning at Lyman Hill every morning and on the boaters net. A real nice guy, very nice radio signal. So he put a real plug in for you and the new repeater and a net up there in Port Angeles, and he was encouraging everybody to call into Lee on 7KC, and because apparently you're running this net, and he was trying to get people to participate in it. So anyway, and let's see, what else have I got? Oh, the price of food. So here a while back, I was reading on my internet, some economist said that the price of food, isn't going to come down until people stop buying it. He said that with the whole economy. He said that, so far the people, they're just spending like they always did, even though things cost more. So he said as long as they do that, they're not going to bring the prices down. He said when people stop buying, then, and they start getting a back, log and stuff starts getting, old on the shelf, and then they start bringing the prices down. So you're right, James, about the grocery outlet. So there's a grocery outlet here, and we haven't been over there very many times, but we did go over there the other day. And we're probably going to start buying a lot of stuff there because they're much, much, much cheaper than Safeways. That's for sure. I mean, everything was half of the price as it was at Safeways. And Berta, But they almost always had this one that was hot, and oh man, I loved it. It was really good. So it was my favorite. So as long as they had those, I would run over there and buy 3 bags. I'd splurge and spend $3, and then eat chips till they come out my ears. What else? Today we went out to dinner. We haven't gone out to dinner for quite a while. So we went over here just by Safeway's, or the sub shop. There's a little Thai. I don't know if it's Thai. It's pho, I think. It's pho, something pho. But anyway, they have everything. So we went in there. I had Mongolian beef, and Joanne had something else. But the food was pretty good. Prices were reasonable, and the vegetables were fresh. There was a lot of people coming in and getting takeout. There was, I don't know, maybe a dozen people. Small little hole-in-the-wall place, but real clean. People seemed real nice, and we really enjoyed it. So we went out there. We had Thai food. They have everything. They don't, besides Thai food. But anyway, that's what we had on the menu. All right, back to that, KD7QKU.
QKU. Let's go to Jessica, KF7UHK.
I didn't get called about 2 minutes ago because that cat I just showed you just got up on my keyboard that's sitting here across from me and started walking up and down the keys. And of course I leave my keyboard on all the time and the amplifier just because I want to be able to walk out here and just start playing. And it was making a racket. So that was kind of fun. The cat didn't care. Tim's chips, the red and white bags. I bet they were Tim's. They were very good chips. Today I was on a route they call it Route 50, and it was just a whole bunch of different people that had different places to go. It was all computerized, so that it would all kind of fit together for my 8 or 9 hour days today. But there's also a lot of fixed routes, which are the ones that go from here to there, back and forth. They just pick up passengers on the side of the road who want to go from one point to another somewhere on the route. But these are these paratransits, so it's a little short bus. These people have a subscription. They've qualified to be able to use the paratransit because they have some need for it, and they pay $2 a ride, and you can go pretty much anywhere in our service area for $2 a ride if you qualify. And I think you have to give them a day notice of where you want to go. But it's very economical, and if you need to get somewhere and you don't have a car or you're not a driving type person, it's a really great deal, and we treat you like with kid gloves. Now I did have someone. Now people don't like buses. Let me tell you. When I was on Highway 20 going towards Santa Cruz today, some little zippy car went around me and went by so close to my front end that I could have, handed a cigarette out the window and handed it to the passenger and probably stuck it in his mouth for him because it was so close. And it's like, come on, folks. If you hit me, I'm probably going to win because I'm probably a lot heavier than you. And my bus has at least 11 cameras on it, always recording and ready to pull that tape off. So with that, I will say about the chip things, Butterfingers have gotten smaller, and I'm sad about that. KF7UHK.
UHK. Well, if they're smaller, I guess you can consume 2 instead of 1. Let's go to Lee in 7KC.
Okay, hello again from Lee in 7KCFPA. Oh, very good. Okay, my take on your chips. It ought to cost $20 a pound, frankly. We'd all be better off. The kites were spectacular, Richard. Boy, oh boy, that's slick. And I didn't hear you mention that you were flying one, so I don't know what that's all about. Too bad about Randall's foot and his shin. Good grief. Terrible. And aspirin. I guess you take enough aspirin don't have to worry about the broken shin. And Ron, when you started to mention the fellow liveaboard, and I think you said maybe it was Anacortes, the audio, my Echolink quit working right at that moment, and then I scrambled to try to get things back, and then the story was over by the time I got you back. So I don't know what that was all about. And Jessica, on the buses, do you have to do anything like fuel or anything like that? You walk up and a bus is there waiting on you to go, and somehow you've got a computer there and the program tells you where you're supposed to go. You don't have to be reading papers or anything. Okay. All right, that's all I got in 7KC here in Port Angeles. Back to you, Dave.
KC and ID time again. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7CYM. Let's go to Marysville to Bert, N7CS.
Okay, let's look at my notes here and see what I want to talk about. Yeah, so Richard, thanks for sharing the video of the kites. The thing that I was wondering about when I was watching all that was, with so many kites, how do they not get tangled up in the strings? I mean, it was just reminding me of the whole Ghostbusters crossing the streams thing, so I'm not sure how they managed to do that. Yeah, Wade, thanks for, it's been a while since I've seen you on the net. For whatever reason, on one screen your shirt was blue, and on my other screen your shirt was green. So I don't know what color your shirt is. You'll have to tell us if it's a blue shirt or a green shirt. Let's see. And Dave, yeah, sorry to hear about your taxes here. I wasn't quite clear what happened. It sounds like maybe you miscalculated the required minimum distribution and had to pay a penalty on that, or was it just your normal income tax stuff? Oh, okay. And let's see. Okay, what else do I have on my list here? Okay, yeah, so I mentioned a few minutes ago how the new Inflation Reduction Act passed, and the number of EV cars available to get by the end of the year was a lot more limited than it had been just like the day before it passed. Well, there's like two cars that were like not super expensive on the list that still qualified for the tax credits, a Ford Mach-E and then a Nissan Leaf. So I went to both dealerships today to kind of check them out. So first I stopped by the Ford dealership. I want to let it drop for a second. I went to the Ford dealership. I saw they did have a couple of Mach-E's on the lot. I saw the sticker price, which was like $56,000, which was a lot higher than the base price that they had advertised on. I mean, I've seen online before, it's like 42 or something. So it was above what I was going to want to pay anyway, but I went to go talk to the guys, and they said, oh yeah, those two you can't buy. They've already been like sold to somebody else. You have to pre-order them if you want them, and you can't even order them anymore. The orders have been stopped. So they said the only way you could get one this year is if somebody who ordered one ended up canceling it. And I said, okay, well, suppose I had ordered one and it did get delivered. Is it just MSRP you're paying? He said, oh, no. You have to pay $10,000 over MSRP if you want that car. So I said, yeah, don't put me on that waiting list. I'll leave. So then I went to the Nissan dealership, saw a bunch of Leafs out on the lot. It turns out all of them were used. They didn't have any new Leafs available. And they said, yeah, they might get one new Leaf in November. And I said, MSRP? He said, no, $7,000 over MSRP. And I said, well, what about these used ones you have out here? Now, those won't qualify for the tax credit. I was just kind of, asking to be nice. And he said, oh, yeah, this used one here, it's $46,000 now if you want to take it off the lot. But just so you know, when it was new, it was only $37,000. So it's like I'm going, okay, yeah, I guess no additional EV car for me this year. I'll have to wait another time. Anyway, this is Burton Marysville, N7CS, back to that.
Let's go to Bob, K9PQ.
Hey, let me get my video switched here. There we go. Well, I've got a long list here, and as this was such a big group, this might be my last transmission, so I'm going to take my time to go through the whole list. Potato chips. I have no self-control with potato chips. I do not buy the big bags at Costco, and I also don't buy the pay half the price price if you buy 5 at once at QFC. I've done that too many times, and after 2 days, 5 bags of potato chips are gone. So I just don't do that anymore. I buy 1 bag of potato chips, and I try to do that rarely. But yeah, I do like my potato chips. The IC905, yeah, it's very exciting, and I don't know if you guys have seen the exchanges between me and Bert. Bert had a lot of really good information, and it sounds like it could be something of interest to an MCOM like for Seattle ACS. Not as a repeater, I don't think it would really work as a repeater, but as a base station for people that would have FM video capability out around the city to communicate with the EOC. Just a thought, but it would be interesting to see how that might work. Dave, yeah, I feel so bad for your financial troubles. This is a one-time offer. I'll trade you your financial situation for my financial situation. I'm just trying to be generous here, and I just feel sorry for you, so I'll do that. It'd be great. I got the 287 recently, and I'm quite happy with it. I'm still a newcomer. I've only done steaks so far. It does a great job on steaks, and some people, they don't like it. They like to do traditional barbecue and all that kind of stuff. For me, it makes the food coming out right, easy, and almost guaranteed, and that's what I need because I'm not that great to cook. So I'm a big fan of sous vide here. Jessica, at first when you were talking about your counter, your keyboard, I thought it was your computer keyboard, but you were talking about your musical keyboard. Yeah, that would be distracting. And as for potato chips, back to potato chips, I like Tim's, and I also like Kettle Brand. I find them to be very similar. Thanks for the kite videos there. Cool stuff, Richard. James, I'm going to take a stab at the name, but I think it's a trick question. Theron is how I've always pronounced it, but I don't know if that's right. And finally, let me just break once more. Time out. Bert, yeah, oh my goodness. Your talk about the electric cars, I'm crying here. I very seriously looked at buying a used Leaf just before COVID. Didn't do it, didn't pull the trigger, but at the time you could get a 3-year-old Leaf in great condition, miles around 50,000 for about $12,000. And I am just crying that I did not actually pull the trigger on that one, because I would be in a much better shape than I am right now as far as worrying about gas prices. Okay, well that's it for me here. Great to have such a big crowd on tonight, and we'll send it back to Nick, and I beat you.
Thank you. Thanks for that. Let's go to Richard, K7ITX.
Okay, let's try sharing again, or screen sharing. Let's see if, okay, I don't do it very much, and I think it's right here. Yeah, okay, and let's see, well, I'm just a little confused, but, oh, these are not movies. No wonder. Okay, so this is a view walking from my condominium, and so no, I didn't have a kite, and I was invited by my brother-in-law and sister-in-law. They paid for everything for the whole week. It's a fantastic. What is it called? Something Mark. By Wyndham, I don't know, but it's just fantastic. 2 bedrooms, 2 baths, just everything you would ever want in a hotel, that's for sure. But I mean, just what an adventure! I had no idea what I was about to get involved in when I came to this event. And yes. I haven't, interesting enough, you would think that the strings would get tangled up with each other, but I never saw it happen. I think it has something to do with the wind being so good and predictable that they just just know how to stay away from each other. So anyway, gosh, and I don't know the name of the movie or anything about it. So I am totally betwitched and don't know how to, or can't even take a guess. So on the, but I'm glad you showed that, James. Testing? Oh, could you hear me before? Okay. You never, okay, you did, but now, okay, you hear me now. So anyway, I know what I was saying. So, James, thanks for showing that spaceship, because I did last night. They had a presentation of kites all lit up with LEDs, and some of them I thought I had seen in news clips or internet scenarios where people were sure that they saw UFOs. And quite honestly, I can't see why you wouldn't think they are UFOs. You can't hear them. They're monstrously big. They can do all kinds of weird acrobatic gravity-defying maneuvers, and they make no noise. So, of course, they're from outer space. K7ATS, back to net control.
7ITX, let's go to Wade, W7ITL.
This is W7ITL Wade here in Tacoma. I'm just going to show you a few pictures that I took earlier today. This is some of the framing repair rehab we've been doing on our downstairs sunroom. So you can see that, I don't know how well it's coming over the video signal, but we had to replace the header that's above that window, and then the frame, some of the other wood that's around there was all rotten out, so we're getting that all redone, and we're going to go ahead and replace the roof above that. So that's that, and that's me. Wrong direction. Let's see if I can get this to... there we go. Wrong way. There we go. So this is outside showing the window. We had to take the window completely out today, and we're going to probably have to replace all the siding above and on the side of that window there. So let's see. Let's get back to my signal here so you can see me, and I'll just kind of final out here. And let's see. There we go. I'm showing up now on the video. This is W7ITL, and this one will show and tell for tonight. Talk to you guys later. Maybe I'll see you on the next round.
ITL, let's go to Jim, N7QO.
Work that you've got going on at your location, and it's been going on for a while. That's a lot of patience. I don't think my wife would be that patient. She'd have us move into somewhere else while all that is going on. But it should be pretty nice once it's done. Jim, no, I don't know the movie that had that kite. Somehow that seems to look familiar, but I'll be darned if I can think of it. And let's see, you mentioned your neighbor with fake trees. Okay, neither my wife nor I are terribly fond of yard work and gardening, so I must confess that we do have some fake flowers and plants around here. But fake trees, that's, never thought of that, huh? I'll bet they wouldn't drop all those needles all orders stopped. $10,000 over suggested retail price. Holy cow. Just within the past week or two, I saw something on the internet. A fellow bought a used electric vehicle. I no longer remember the details of how old it was or what he paid or whatever. But not too awfully long after he bought this thing, what he was doing on the internet, he was complaining now that he needed to replace the batteries, and the replacement cost of the batteries amounted to more than what he originally paid for the whole car. So he was, I don't know, looking for suggestions or just warning people to watch out for this sort of thing. At any rate, yeah, things are definitely not the way they used to be from what they were a couple of years ago. But thanks for mentioning that, Bert. Wow. Back to you, Dave, and 7QO.
Let's go to James, WW7N.
Thank you, Dave, and thank you, Wade. It's always inspiring to see what you're doing to your house there. I really am going to get started on mine one of these days. I have a whole bunch of work I need to have done. It's always an inspiration. And thank you also, Richard, for the kite pictures. That was an amazing one. Almost looked like a balloon kind of thing, the giant shark. Well, you know, I follow an economist out of Austin at the university there, and he pointed out that to get a Ford electric car, you got something like a $7,000 tax credit. Ford immediately raised the MSRP $8,000, and that's in addition to the $10,000 over MSRP. So I'm not quite sure where the economic lever is on that. As far as the Leaf, I think that's going to, spawn the statement in the auto industry, turning over a new leaf. Because, wow, I mean, you get a used car, the batteries are half shot at least, and then you're going to spend more than it was when it was a new car, and then have to replace the batteries. I'm sorry, this is fitting into the great national energy transition plan to become carbon-free by 2030 or whatever. It just doesn't make any sense to me at all, but maybe I will learn at some point. All I can say about the Butterfingers is to quote, that horrible day when the dirigible exploded. Oh my God! Oh, the humanity! I mean, Butterfingers getting smaller. What's the world coming to? But I've noticed a lot of things are getting smaller. And I went to a restaurant last week, and you used to have an option of a cup of soup or a bowl of soup. And it was this nice soup, and they used to do a really good job with that. So I ordered this bowl of soup. Now you get this cup with this flying saucer-sized rim around the cup, and they call that a bowl. I don't know what a cup of soup is. I mean, they just must bring just a single teaspoon out now. Maybe it's like, a little coffee scoop of soup you get for a cup. It was not something that was in danger of not being totally consumed. I mean, it's not like that's going to overfill you up, let me tell you. You have to make me smile because there was a person I worked with at a Ren fishing game, and whenever a certain kind of tour group drove up, he'd go, "Oh great, the short yellow bus is here." So you actually do drive a short bus. Tell me if it's yellow or not. But that's funny. And yes, Ron, you are correct. If we all stop buying food, the price would come down. Matter of fact, the current inflation index, they just removed, I think it was food, housing, and just about anything to do with energy, and that's how they're tracking inflation. And you can go to shadowstats.com and see what the inflation rate is as if it was being measured in the 1980s or 1990s. Because every time inflation goes bonkers, they change the rules of what inflation is. They take out everything that's gone up significantly in price, and the most significant thing, of course, is energy, because energy really is in everything. So that's kind of interesting. I think the last time I looked, our true inflation rate for the last 2 years is somewhere between 14 and 16%. Anyway, what a coincidence, Dave. My regular taxes last year were $3.4 million, and no, not really. But anyway, thank you for sharing that. That's funny. That's a great problem someday again. This is James, WW7ATS in northeast Bellevue, turning back to net control.
7N, thanks for that, James. Well, I've been looking at the Volkswagen bus that's going to be released here in the U.S. the next year, but that with a 300-mile range battery is like $60,000, and unfortunately it has Chinese batteries in it, so you're not going to get any type of discount with that tax credit by purchasing that unless they tool it up in the U.S. and find a source for batteries in the U.S. and manufacture it here in the U.S. So it's a little richer than I thought. And I would say for retirement funds and stuff, you know, standard IRAs are neat, but you've got to take out that yearly minimum requirements based upon how much money you have in there and your age. But the worst part is if you don't take it out, it's 50% of what it was supposed to be for your deduction. So you get even penalized more, and you get no money out of it. You just have to pay the tax. You don't get any withdrawal. So if you can go over to a Roth IRA and do the pre-tax paying on the Roth, you come out much better. There is no minimum requirement on the Roth, and there's no taxes to be paid on the Roth when you go to take it out, or whatever fund. You can take it all out or take any amount that you want, and it's tax-free. So probably a better investment at this point if you're getting into it. But if you have old money, and the conversion factor is you lose about 30 to 40% doing a conversion from going from a standard Roth over from a standard IRA to a Roth, so there's a loss there. Anyway, so much for Econ 101. So this is Dave, KD7ZYM. We'll go back up to the top to Ron, KD7QKU.
Okay, thanks again, Dave. KD7QKU here. Well, Lee, the man lived in Port Angeles, and he lives on a sailboat, and he's a liveaboard, and he's single, I believe. He's going to have some surgeries coming into Seattle on Tuesday, I believe, for a little surgery. But anyway, I think the net that you run is at 7 o'clock tonight or something. 7 o'clock in the evenings, I think you said. So I don't know. But anyway. So listen, you guys, we'll go back to potato chips. I grew up in eastern Washington, and so they had the Cull potato chip. And they had a big bin of them. And they had a tin can. You go over there and throw in 25 or 30 cents and take the biggest cardboard box you could find, stick underneath the chute, pull the rope, and fill the box. They had barbecue or they had plain in those days. And so we couldn't get too big a box because we couldn't get it in the car with all of us guys when we drove around and drank beer. So we could only get about a 2 by 2 by 2 feet deep. So we'd spend about, 25 or 15 cents, whatever. They didn't care. They just wanted to get. So now these had a little bit of peeling, and sometimes, they had a dark spot in them or something. So they were kind of the Culls, but I'm telling you, they sure tasted good. So let me drop here and change the subject. I will tell Richard, yes, those were very nice pictures. Yesterday we went into Seattle. My friend, Joanne's friend Betty Robertson passed away. She lives on the west side of Queen Anne in a little condominium, 1 bedroom. So Joanne's been cleaning it out or getting everything out, and so she wanted to bring some of the stuff home. She wants to send it to her relatives in Australia. So she wanted me to take the pickup. So we went over there. Oh my goodness, the trucks at 10:30 in the morning, the trucks were in the right 2 lanes as far as I could see ahead of me and as far as I could see behind me. So we didn't get there to almost noon. Traffic was just horrible. And the place, her place faces west. Hot, oh my golly, that was hot. No air conditioning. And so I taken down some TV sets and stuff that were on the walls, and we brought a lot of stuff home. I brought home a couple of laptop computers. She didn't have passwords in them. I found out after I got them plugged in, and they both worked. One of them works really good. One was be the older one, and one was in the living room. It was a pretty newer one. And the one in the living room just works fine. It's fast. And I brought home a couple of vacuum cleaners. One was a Sharp cordless, and the lady had long hair, so both of the vacuum cleaners or brushes were just packed with hair. So I spent a long time this morning cutting all the hair off. Once I got all the hair out, they worked pretty good. So, yeah, the little cordless one is kind of cute. I had to plug it in and charge it for a long time. And the other one is a Shark vacuum cleaner, too. It's smaller, upright, real easy to clean, and it's a corded one, so we don't have any carpets here. We just need something to pick up cat hair, basically, and dust. So I think they'll work better for us. We just had a big old upright Kirby vacuum cleaner that we've had for years, and it didn't do a very good job here. So anyway, I think Joanne's going to enjoy these two little vacuum cleaners. And we brought home a lot of stuff. My goodness, more than I wanted to, but on this situation, I just have to keep my mouth shut, because we bring it home, and when she goes to send it to Australia and finds out what it's going to cost her, I'm sure it's going to go to Goodwill, but whatever. And then she's finally decided that she's going to, on Thursday, she has the 1-800, I've got junk people coming out, and they're going to take everything out of the place, so, and then we'll hopefully put it up for sale. She will. I suggested that she use the same people that we bought and sold through, because she knows them and she's done business with them, and I thought it'd be a much pleasanter situation for her. So, but that's up to her, so we'll see. Back to net, KD7QKU.
KD7KU, thanks for that. And time has run out for the net this evening. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. We'd like to thank the owners and operators of the SeaTac Repeater Association for allowing us to use WW7STR, known as the 08 machine, or 147.08, to utilize for our voice transmissions on Saturdays and Wednesdays between 8 and 9 o'clock. So on behalf of the Western Washington Amateur Television Society, this is Dave, KD7CYM, terminating the net at 9 o'clock. Good evening all.